So today we're celebrating the divine appearance of Lord Nityānanda Prabhu. We're having our festival. We are on Zoom with our assembled devotees. Welcome. And we're also filming the Harikatha podcast. I'm Bhakti Lalita. So this is a very inconceivably happy day for us. We can't imagine how lucky we are, how fortunate we are, how blessed we are to have divine connection to Lord Nityānanda Prabhu. And I'll try to speak simply so our new friends can understand. Krishna is the original Supreme Person. From him everything emanates through his expansions, through his avatars, through all of his divine activities and pastimes. And Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Adir Govinda Sarva Karna Karnam. He's the cause of all causes. So the first thing that he causes, the very first thing he does is expand into Balaram. Balaram's the very first expansion. Balaram is also Nityānanda. They are non-different. So when the Lord comes as Lord Krishna to this earth, 5,000 years ago, he appeared in Mathura, Vrindavan. First, his first expansion, Baladev appears to set the scene. And he is the brother of Krishna. He's Krishna, but he's Krishna's brother. He's also Krishna, his umbrella. He is Ananta. He's the umbrella. He's the seat, the throne, the bed, all the paraphernalia of Krishna. He's a servitor. In Ram Lila, he's Lakshman. So in Krishna Lila, he's Balaram. In Gaura Lila, he's Nityānanda. In Ram Lila, he's Lakshman. Always assisting and always accompanying the Lord in his pastimes. And he's inconceivably merciful. And when he comes to this earth with Mahaprabhu, he appears first. Like you see in a movie set, all the movie set is prepared in a theater. Like that, the Lord comes to this earth to display his pastimes. And all the actors in the play, they also take their birth in the right time. They take, some are a little elder, they come first. Some are younger, they come later. Balaram comes. First comes Advaita and Haridas Thakur. And before that is Madhavendra Puri. They're all part of this Leela of the Lord, specifically Gaura Leela, which happened only approximately 500 years ago. So Advaita comes. He and Haridas Thakur are initiated by Madhavendra Puri, who's the sprout of love divine, introducing Madhura Rasa to the world, to the Gaudiya Vaishnava world. And Advaita sees the situation of the world. It's very dark. It's Kali Yuga. And everyone has forgotten their purpose in life. They're engaging in mundane scholarship, arguing over the wrong conclusions, and Some people are even doing very degraded activities, like we hear marrying cats. Just imagine, like, what a waste of time. You have this precious life and you're spending it by doing things like marrying cats, making a wedding ceremony for cats. Sounds funny, but they were doing this for fun. And Advaita, and seeing so much hypocrisy, so much quarrel, so much degeneration. Kali Yuga is unfolding. So Advaita Prabhu, he's Mahavishnu. He's also in an expansion of the Lord. He calls for the Lord to appear. And he's first-class Brahmin. He's the Lord himself. He gets on his throne and he, to his deities, he bows down to his Shalagram Shila. It is said Advaita is so powerful that if he bows down to any Shalagram Shila, any deity form of the Lord, if it's not substantially real, if it's like some fake Shila or some deity that has no actual presence of the Lord, it will shatter. So he's worshipping his Shalagram Shila, bowing down, offering Ganges water with tulsi leaves, and calling out to the Lord, please come to this earth and bless this earth and save everybody, because there's so much darkness here, we have no hope. In this fervent prayer, he calls out to the Lord. The Lord hears that prayer. And one of the first to descend is Lord Nityānanda, taking birth in the holy dham of Ekachakra. Our Srila Gurudev wanted a temple there. Now we have a very glorious temple, and he installed Nitai Gaura Chandra, life-size deities, 7 feet, something 6 inches, 7 feet, 8 inches, the actual height of Lord Nityānanda and Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu is a little taller, and Nityānanda is a little stronger. And so in the family, very pious family, Brahmin family of Nityānanda, he appears as the son of Hriday Pandit and Padmavati Devi. And they were so overwhelmed with the beauty and the divinity of their child. They only knew their child. They maintained their lives for their child. They went through their household duties for their child. Everything, their lives were centered around Nityānanda. And they couldn't live without even looking at his face. They were all day long glancing at his beautiful face. And he was born and had all the symptoms of an avadut, even as a child, even as a young toddler and a young kid. He had the nature of an avadut. And an avadut is someone who's beyond the social norms, is beyond the rules and beyond the activities of a normal person, especially a spiritual person. And later we can see that his activities were also beyond conceivable. And as a young kid, his type of play was reenacting the pastimes of the Lord. He'd say, okay, I'll be Lakshman, you be Ram, and you be Sita, and we'll run and kill Kamsa. conquer Kamsa and save Sita Devi. Or he'll play as the different killing of the demons and Krishna Lila. These were all his pastimes as a child. And he would get so overwhelmed. They'd go without eating or sleeping for many, many days, playing these roles of pastimes, forgetting everything. And the mother and father couldn't intervene because Nityānanda was so deeply absorbed in playing the pastimes of the Lord. So this is how his childhood was spent. When he comes, when the Lord comes, all their associates come. So also he has, Balaram also has his cowherd friends, his own group, the Dwadasa Gopals, the main chief associates of Nityānanda. They also appeared with him, and they're all playing together. Then one day, everything was going really well, and Hridai Pandit and Padmavati Deva were so in love with their son. But one day a sannyasi came, a very exalted, effulgent sannyasi came to their home, which is typical. A sannyasi monk travels and they don't go anywhere announced. They come unannounced, and everyone's ready to receive them and to give them whatever they want. They come into your home. It's Indian culture so beautiful that they stop what they're doing. They invite guests, especially visiting sannyasis, into their homes, and they'll feed them and take care of them and give them a place to rest and whatever they wish. And some say, Gurudev says, some say that sannyasi was Madhavendra Puri, who is the initiating spiritual master of Advaita Acharya, of Haridas Thakur, of Ishwara Puri, and Nityānanda Prabhu. And some say that was Madhavendra Puri, and his one wish was, give me this boy. And Hridai Pandit and Padmavati Devi nearly died. They want to take he wants to take our only son, and our very lives are subsisting on this son, just looking at his face, enjoying his pastimes, his beauty, his character. They couldn't imagine losing their son. He wants to permanently take Nityānanda, first on pilgrimage, and so this is Leela. As heartbreaking as it is, they gave him over to this sannyasi monk. Take our son. They nearly died. Madhavendra Puri, we think it was him, took Nityānanda out of Ekachakra Dham, and they went on pilgrimage. And that's where Nityānanda learned all the holy places. And you'll hear this this pilgrimage of Navadip Dham in the Navadip Dham Mahatma and Navadip Bhavataranga as reiterated by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In a trance, in meditation, Nityānanda Prabhu, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, some hundreds of years later, went on this pilgrimage and composed it in his two books that are combined as Navadip Dham Mahatma and Navadip Bhavataranga. So Nityānanda takes Jiva Goswami later on these pastimes, on this pilgrimage, and everything is described. What we know about Navadip Dham, the appearance place of Mahaprabhu, is because of Madhavendra Puri taking Nityānanda on pilgrimage, and then Nityānanda taking Jiva Goswami on pilgrimage. So many details are given there. So Nityananda's actually in waiting. He's waiting for the moment he gets to meet with Krishna in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who also appeared. They're all simultaneously living their lives, waiting for that moment where they get to meet. And that moment in history, in the divine pastimes, comes at Nityānanda Bhavan, Nityānanda Acharya's house. One of their associates, they meet. First, Mahaprabhu sends his devotees, go and find Nityananda. Go and find the Avadut. He took his birth somewhere in this Gora Mandal. Then find him. He sends his associates. And they couldn't find him. They searched the length and breadth of Navadip Dham. They couldn't find him. So, okay, I know where he is. I'm going to go find him. Come with me. And Mahaprabhu goes to Nandan Acharya's house. Nityananda goes to Nandan Acharya's house, and they meet. And they both, so at this moment, they haven't met, and they haven't seen each other in their Gora Lila forms, in their costumes, so to say. They know each other as Krishna and Balaram in their divine abode, Goloka Vrindavan. They appear together, so many avatars and so many forms, but this is the first time they're meeting at Nandan Acharya Bhavan. And they run to each other, embrace each other, and they faint in ecstasy. And when they're both lying in ecstasy, was it, who was it? Srivas Pandit is reciting the verses describing the beauty of Balaram and the love of Krishna and Balaram. And they're meeting, and they're not saying, you're Balaram, you're Krishna. They're just, everyone knows it, because this is kind of a hidden pastime. It's all revealing. And it's indicated, this is Balaram, this is Krishna. They're meeting for the first time in Gora Lila. And they're just looking at each other and laughing, like, look at Krishna, who's now Gauranga. And Gauranga's, look at Balaram, who's now Nityananda. Like, what an amazing transformation has taken place. Like your facial features, your bodily luster. Mahaprabhu's golden, because Krishna's normally blackish. But because of the influence of Radharani, she covers his form with her bhav and kanti, her luster, her heart. And Nityananda seeing my Lord Krishna, who's blackish, is now golden. And he's astonished. And Balaram, he's wearing, the deities and all our decorations are in his color, which is like a royal peacock blue. That's Balaram's color. That's the color of Nityananda also. And in his whitish, he's very light colored, very strong build. Balaram means strong. Now he's Nityananda, showing his beauty and his strength. And their pastimes can begin together. Now they're together, they're united, and they're going to bring about Sankirtan as the Kali Yuga Dharma. And it begins in Srivas Pandit's house, and that's behind closed doors, and only a few select souls are allowed to go in and to engage in this way. And so much ecstasy is coming, like bursting out of the house of Srivas Pandit. And everyone's like, what's going on in there? Everyone wants to know. They're waiting outside. There's all this tumultuous chanting going on. And some people, one person wants to show that he's qualified to enter because he only drinks milk. He thinks that will get him entrance. I only drink milk. I don't eat anything. Then Srivas Pandit, no, that's no qualification here. And someone, one of the relatives of Srivas Pandit is hiding inside, and Mahaprabhu's feeling something's not right. Is someone in here who's like not qualified to be here? And they found it's like the auntie of Srivas Pandit wants to hear, and she's hiding. They takes her out. But the time comes when, I believe it was the Qazi has heard about these kirtans, and everyone's all getting envious about these kirtans and that they can't enter. So some incident took place where the Qazi, the Muslim ruler, he breaks a mridanga, and Mahaprabhu is furious. Because a mridanga is also Balaram, is also Ananta, is also Nityānanda. And Mahaprabhu takes all of his associates, and all the people follow after him, and they have torches. And this is the first Nagar Sankirtan. They come out chanting. They bring it out of Srivas's house. And Nagar Sankirtan, Nagar means like a snake. There's such a long procession. It looks from a distance like a big snake formation is coming with Sankirtan, going to the Qazi's house to set things straight. And the Qazi's trying to hide inside his house. He sees there's like billions of people outside of his house, and Mahaprabhu's there, Nityānanda, all the associates are there. They're going to teach him a lesson. Then he ends up getting the grace of the Lord. And the Sankirtan has come out from closed doors and is now public for everyone. And Nityānanda teams up with Haridas Thakur together to go on like daily preaching activities. Just imagine the two of them, Nityānanda and Haridas. Haridas is a little older. He's from the previous generation. And Nityānanda is just the avadut who's like bent on finding the worst section of society and converting them into devotees of Mahaprabhu. He's just like, who are the worst people in this town? Let's go get them. And Haridas Thakur's, oh no, he's older and sensible. And he's like, who paired me up with this guy? They were put together as a team, and Haridas is just like, every day is going to be a nightmare for me because Nityānanda is crazy. And he finds the worst two people. They're actually demons, Jagai and Madai. They're living in Navadip town. They were born in Brahmin families, but they were like just addicted to drugs and alcohol and womanizers and like terrorizing the town. They had the worst reputation. They were so polluted, and like people lived in fear of them because they were like mafia, gunda, as worse, as bad as you could get. And Nityananda's like, let's get them, these two, Jagai and Madai. And Haridas, oh no. And they go, and the first thing that happens is Jagai and Madai are like, they see Nityananda and Haridas coming, they're like taunting them and start abusing them, and at one point throwing things at Nityananda and Haridas, and Haridas just runs. And Nityananda's there, like trying to save them, and gets hit in the head by the pot. This clay pot, heavy pot, was thrown. Was it by Jagai or Madai? Does anyone remember? It was one of them. And that pot cuts the head of Nityananda, and his head is bleeding. And Nityananda doesn't care. But news spread that these offenders actually physically assaulted Nityananda Prabhu, and that was inconceivable to Mahaprabhu. And so I believe it was the very next day, Mahaprabhu was like, that's it, we're going to kill these guys. And in his one of his promises that he's coming to this earth, that his weapons would only be kol and kartal, mridanga and kartals, no weapons of any kind, no discs and clubs and archery, bow and arrow. But Mahaprabhu's so furious, he forgot about his vow. He calls his Sudarshan chakra, 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 come, and goes to kill Jagai and Madai. But Nityananda was like, no, you can't do that. It's Kali Yuga. You can't call your chakra. I want to save these two. And he intervenes, and there's this scene with Jagai and Madai. Mahaprabhu is furious. Jai Pavan Krishna Prabhu. Mahaprabhu is furious, and Nityananda's in between them, blocking, trying to save Jagai and Madai. And one of them, I believe it was Madai, asks, like, he repented, and he also stopped his brother from further abusing Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu touched them, and his body became black because he absorbed all the sins. I believe it was Madai. Because of that repentant expression of don't hurt him anymore. Nityananda felt so much compassion, and then the other brother sees his brother getting absolved and forgiven, and he also wants to be forgiven. So these two, Jagai and Madai, they finally get forgiven, and Mahaprabhu accepts, okay, I'm not going to kill them. Nityananda's insisting on saving them. He's absorbed all their sin, and they became great Vaishnavas, Jagai and Madai. And they spent the rest of their lives serving this one area of the Ganga, bathing area called Jagai Madai Ghat. You might have seen it on Navadip Dham Parikrama. It's not far from the Chaitanya Saraswat Mahat in Navadvip. And they would clean that area of the Ganges and make it suitable for anyone who wants to come bathe in the Ganga. They'd clean it, make sitting places, And everyone who would come there to bathe, they would ask forgiveness. Forgive us for being so offensive our whole lives, for being such demons. They became extremely humble and spent the rest of their lives like begging for forgiveness. So we hear about this pastime in the Chaitanya Mangal, Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Mostly in Chaitanya Charitamrita you will hear this pastime. So Nityānanda Prabhu, showing in this pastime his extreme mercy, his outgoing nature to rescue the fallen souls, the most fallen, and indiscriminate in his mercy towards one and all. And when he was sent from Jagannath Puri, he wanted to stay with Mahaprabhu naturally in Jagannath Puri. That time, the preaching in Bengal hadn't started yet. Mahaprabhu sent him. You go, and you're the only one, the fit person to introduce Krishna consciousness to everyone, and to go preaching, and to give Krishna Nam. And Nityānanda was going and begging door to door, please take the name of Gauranga. Instead of Krishna, he's preaching Gauranga consciousness. And falling at people's feet, begging them to chant the names of Gauranga. And this way, indiscriminately going door to door, rescuing who he came across. And the avadut nature was there, you know, sometimes in a little mock fight with Advaita Acharya at the house of Advaita, when after Mahaprabhu's sannyas, there was a little funny incident where Advaita is feeding Mahaprabhu and Nityānanda Prabhu, and little argument going on between Advaita and Nityānanda, and Advaita's like, we don't even know like where you come from and who are you. We don't know anything about you. You're some unknown character. We don't know your parents, what is your background, and we don't even know if you're a sannyasi or if you're a grihasta, and like your behavior is so unusual and uncommon. Like Nityānanda throws rice at him, and Advaita's like getting Nityānanda prasadam and like dancing and laughing. This funny scene, and Nityananda's retorting. He's responding with his equally clever responses to Advaita. So it said sometimes you might even find Nityananda coming out of like a bar with a prostitute, with his arm around a prostitute with a wine bottle. Like that example of extreme, inconceivable behavior. But that never would diminish his purity and who he was, and his integrity of being Lord Balaram as Nityananda, coming to rescue everyone and to assist Mahaprabhu in his pastimes. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj says, Nityananda is the original guru and the foundation of our spiritual lives. So he explains, if you want to build anything, any structure, you need a good foundation, a good solid foundation to build. And that is Nityānanda. If you have his grace and he's at the core and He's the source of your connection to Gauranga and as the original Guru, then your spiritual life will be built in a strong, substantial way, an unbreakable way. And we saw in Srila Sridhar Maharaj's pastimes, he was very much, Srila Gurudev would say, Rupa Goswami's man. He was higher, in a higher plane of Gaudiya Vaishnava Krishna consciousness. He was the Rupa Nugadhara. Rupa's mercy was flowing through him. But he was always chanting Dayal Nitai, Dayal Nitai, Dayal Nitai. And one time somebody asked, you are Rupa Goswami's man. That is Krishna Lila, Madhura Rasa, and the line of Radharani through Lalita Devi. That's where you are situated. That's what you're giving to the world. But you're always saying Dayal Nitai, Dayal Nitai, Dayal Nitai, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj answered yes, because we're dealing with such high things when speaking about Rupa Goswami's conceptions, the teachings of Mahaprabhu, the pastimes of Mahaprabhu and Nityānanda, and the Gaudiya Vaishnava culture. It's so high. And if I ever make any offense, he said, anything wrong or anything offensive, I'm taking the name of Nityānanda to correct me and to set things right and to harmonize. It's like a harmonizing call to Nityānanda to make things right, set things straight, and adjust things so they're harmonious and proper. So that was his answer, why he's always, you'll hear in his talks and his chants, and even in one of the Guardian of Devotion publications of Goswami Maharaj and Mahayogi Prabhu and team, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, they were transcribing his talks, and then they put it into book form and they offered it to Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And he asked, but where's all my Gaur Nitai, Jai Nitai, Dayal Nitais? Like, we had to take some of them out for printing and publishing, but he wanted to see them in the book. So that's an example for us. Nityānanda Prabhu will harmonize and adjust and correct things. Course correction will take place by the grace of Nityānanda Prabhu, and he will give us a firm foundation of understanding, of realization, of practical application of these spiritual conceptions of Mahaprabhu. And Nityānanda Prabhu's divine character and his beauty and his pastimes are described in a beautiful composition of Srila Sridhar Maharaj called the Nityānanda Dradashakam. It's verses, I believe, is that 12 verses in our songbook? 12 verses of glorification of Nityānanda Prabhu. I'm just going to confirm that. Nityānanda Chandram Bhaja Bhaja Satatam Gaura Krishna Pradam Tam. Okay. 12 prayers revealing the ontological position and pastimes of Nityānanda Prabhu. Shri Nityānanda Chandram Bhaja Bhaja Sattatam Gaura Krishna Pradam Tam. Let us eternally worship that great personality, Shri Nityānanda Chandra, who freely grants the association of Shri Gauranga Dev, who is none other than Lord Krishna. So I'm just going to take out a few points of this. Lord Nityānanda represents Ananta Shesh, who possesses unlimited mouths, which propagate the glory of Lord Hari's names and attributes. Ananta Shesh is the serpent form of Balaram. You see him, even here, he's in Thailand. All the snakes oftentimes sitting behind Buddha, and Buddha sitting on his coils as a seat and umbrella. That's Ananta Shesh, Ananta Dev. So on Ananta's hoods, he holds the weight of the earth planet, and as if it was an insignificant particle of dust. So Ananta, who is Baladev, who is Nityānanda, he is the Lord's umbrella, the resting place, and clothing. Nityananda's partial manifestation is Kshirodakshai Vishnu, who functions as the preservation principle of the entire universal creation and is localized within every soul, Paramatma. So that's a partial manifestation of Nityananda, the super soul, in every heart. And also he is Garbhodakshai Vishnu, the all-imposing figure whose thousands of heads are eulogized in the Vedic orations. Karnadakshai Vishnu, supplying principles of encompassing unlimited universes. Nityananda is the master of the material nature of Karnadakshai Vishnu, who is the shelter of all living beings. Nityananda's presence is further extended within the spiritual abode of Vaikuntha in his partial manifestation known as Sankarshan. In Vaikuntha, Lord Sankarshan performs spiritual pastimes which are fully transcendental, situated in pure goodness, and is all pleasing to Lord Hari. Lord Nityananda is the individual temperament of pure ego existing within the living entity, and sometimes appears just like an ordinary living entity. Nityananda is the fountainhead of primary Sankarshan, exists in full splendor, separate from the original quadruple expansion known as Mool Sankarshan. He is all attractive and performs his wonderful pastimes in the spiritual realm in the regions known as Mathura and Dwaraka. Nityananda is the form of Lord Balaram and is the ultimate source of all incarnations. Pure unalloyed love for Lord Krishna, which is inconceivable to all, embodies the most supreme and intense happiness. When devotees of the Lord realize the joy of such love, they cast away the innumerable doctrines offered by the Vedas, including the soul's emancipation. So, Nityananda, when he was a small boy, he performed sweet and charming pastimes in the village of Ekachakra. His pastimes invoke the deepest heartfelt happiness in his mother, father, relatives, and close friends. It says here about Madhavendra Puri, possibly this sannyasi monk arriving at his house and prayed to the boy's father for his son. Lord Nityananda was placed in the hands of the renunciate and left to visit the holy places of pilgrimage, wandering the length and breadth of India. Nityānanda traveled from place to place with the crest jewel of the renounced order. Here it's mentioned definitely as Madhavendra Puri. In the pure association of Madhavendra Puri, Lord Nityānanda experienced the most joyful symptoms of ecstasy. After this, the Lord journeyed to Navadip, where he eagerly waited for Mahaprabhu to reveal his benevolent nature to the world. The Lord Mahaprabhu, in the company of Srinivas Pandit and Haridas Thakur, went to the house of Nandan Acharya and found Nitai there. Nityānanda was ordered by the Golden Moon Mahaprabhu to deliver the masses by the wide distribution of Krishna's holy names. One evening, Lord Nityānanda encountered those two drunken and sinful brothers, Jagai and Madai, who were previously Brahma Daita demons of the first order, acting under the devastating spell of Kali Yuga. Suddenly, Nitai was attacked by Madhai, whereupon his body became smeared with blood. In response, Nitai exhibited deep affection for the welfare of the two brothers and rescued them from their abominable condition. Mahaprabhu instructed his family members and followers to wear pieces of Nityānanda's kopin respectfully on their bodies. Sometimes Nityānanda would be naked, and Mahaprabhu's showing like, don't mind it. We will even wear his kopin, which is like under cloth. We'll wear that as worshipable objects to ornament us and to bless us. And it says here, he is so pure and impeccable in his character that even if he's seen holding the hand of a sinful person's wife, a meat-eater's wife, and carrying the bottle of wine, he remains supremely worshipable by the great demons such as Lord Brahma. Nityānanda, accepting the renounced order of life and distributing, Gauranga, accepting the renounced order of life and distributing, distributing the Lord's names. Lord Gauranga's own shadow, Nitai Prabhu, accompanied the Lord over land through rivers, waterways, and jungles. Day and night, Mahaprabhu was intoxicated with the intense desire to taste the sweetness of Radhika's divine love for Krishna. Mahaprabhu instructed Nityānanda and his associates to go out and distribute the holy names of Krishna. But Nityānanda instead plentifully distributed Lord Gauranga's name. O Nityānanda Prabhu, Emperor amidst the personal associates of Mahaprabhu, Srila Sridhar Maharaj prays, kindly grant this fallen soul deep and resolute faith in the pure and divine figure of Gauranga. He says, Lord Gauranga's personality is exclusively embodying the sweet nectar relished deep within the devotional mellows of Radha and Krishna's pastimes. But if your lotus feet are overlooked, then all so-called devotional orations and prayers are meant for the highest worship. They become false, like a dream. So Nityānanda, I worship you, that great personality who openly bestows shelter to the most fallen souls, freely granting the association of Sri Gauranga Dev. Jai Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. So that's his 12 prayers. You can read the Sanskrit, you can sing the Sanskrit. I just breezed through the translation, meaning all of the very important points of Nityānanda Prabhu's pastimes are mentioned there. So these occasions are our great fortune. We are meditating on today, Nityānanda Prabhu, remembering his pastimes, all his expansions, his extreme grace he had upon all the fallen souls. And we are petitioning him in our glorification to be merciful to us too. We need help. And it was my thinking today that he's the one that's going to save us. We're trying to practice this path of bhakti. We're trying to become Krishna conscious. We want to be devotees of Mahaprabhu, but the one who's going to make us fit for this is Nityānanda Prabhu. So without the grace of Nityānanda Prabhu, we cannot get Mahaprabhu. We also see that Nityānanda is the original guru. He's the representation, the functioning representation of guru. So without his grace, we will be nowhere. And a day like this is a day where we hope we'll get his attention somehow. We're calling his name, we're chanting his name, our cooks have been cooking since yesterday for his offering, all the things we know he likes, dressing him in his color, decorating him in his color with bells, and all the things that resemble Nityānanda. We're appealing to him for his causeless mercy, for his extreme, random mercy to come down to us and to save us. Save us from ourselves, basically. We need saving from ourselves. We are our own worst enemy. But Nityānanda is our Lord and Master, and he's so kind and so benevolent that for sure he can rescue us.